Ready. Farrah doesn't flinch.
Parker Washington!
Parker backs up, fields it at the 15-yard line. Made a man miss, 25-yard line, 30-yard line. That's a good return by Parker Washington. Still on his feet, 50, 40, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown!
Parker Washington did exactly what he was doing at the end of the season all through training camp. He was balling.
Parker Washington open field, 50, 45, 40, 30, along the right sideline. Cuts it back to the middle of the field, 20, 15, now back to the right side, to the 10-yard line. Parker Washington to the 10-yard line of the Denver Broncos.
Just done an awesome job with every opportunity he's gotten, and now you look at his role and what he's been doing for our offense. It's been huge, and just his ability to run every route, to run after the catch, all those hidden yards that he's finding after the catch has been really big for us. So we got to continue to find ways to get him the ball.
Caught for the touchdown! The ball's gonna be caught! Touchdown! Caught for the touchdown! Parker Washington caught it in the left corner of the end zone.
I feel like a big thing for me too is that connection with Trevor. Continue to see that grow, continue to get closer with him. It would be nice to continue to build that connection and continue to become closer, not just as a teammates, but hopefully we can be closer friends as well. That helps.
He's one of the first guys in the building every single day. He's soft-spoken. He's quiet, on the quiet side. He doesn't really talk smack. He doesn't really say a ton all the time. He just does, and he's a baller.
Running room for Parker Washington, 45, 40, 30, along the right sideline. Parker Washington, he's going to bring it back. Parker Washington, touchdown Jacksonville.
When you get those opportunities and you make the most of them in them rooms that you're not in, and those conversations they had with the quarterback and the head coach, the one who called the plays, they're going to start dialing specifically for you. Understanding what your strengths are and what you're good at and what you can do, they're going to put the ball in your hands.
Parker Washington is an absolute stud.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Tom McManus, and RJ Saunders.
Well, 3 out of 4 ain't bad. Dempsey not going to be in for the show here this morning as he's taking a day of recovery after the J Fun Wine Gala last night. Tommy, though, he dragged himself in.
Almost a meatloaf quote, but it's a meathead quote. You got 3 out of 4, right?
Yeah.
Not 2 out of 3.
Yeah. That's
How you
not
doing,
bad.
my man?
I'm doing all right.
Good. Happy Friday.
No doubt, man. How was the week?
Great week and a great night last night at the J Fun Wine Tasting Gala. They did it at the ViStar Baseball Park. Just unbelievable. I loved it. I loved the setup last year, of course, inside the stadium of Everbank with everything going on. They moved it to the baseball stadium.
Yeah.
And to me, I loved it. It was incredible. Got to see a lot of people there. And listen, shout out to James Gladstone, his wife, Coach Liam Cohen and his wife for coming. They come to the events. They've been to them before. The golf tournament last May. They came last night. Very approachable. Just it's great. To go there and support Coach Coughlin, support the Jaguar Foundation, just support Jacksonville, and it's just awesome. It really is, man, to see the new regime, so entrenched in the community and helping out where they can. It was just great to see them out there. But a great night. We saw a lot of old friends, a lot of Jags, former Jags and whatnot, and it was just awesome. Great night.
It's always cool to see some of the new faces when they get here and how quickly they take to the city.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And, the city hugs you back when you hug them at all.
Yeah.
We're all trying to welcome everyone in with open arms. They want to greet you, and say, come and be a part of the family.
Yeah.
You're here now. That's all that matters. Nothing else matters, to a Jaguars fan except some kind of show of dedication to the franchise and the city.
Yep.
Right? And, it matters to everyone. So when there are events like that you get invited to,
Yeah.
you don't say no.
No, definitely. Even if it's just an appearance. You know, just go and check it out. But they were entrenched, which was great. And, shout out to all the people that came, man. It was an unbelievable event. So many people. It was rocking. They had music. They had the best food from all the great restaurants, the awesome wine. I didn't even get to all of them. There was an upstairs portion. Oh, and by the way, I hadn't been to the baseball stadium since the renovations. Wow.
Really?
Beautiful. Absolutely. Gorgeous baseball stadium, but just a great night. Of course, Kelly Coughlin and Coach, and it was funny. We met one of the granddaughters, and my daughter Avery was there, and we're talking. Her name's Emma, and I figured out which child she is. And anyway, someone came up and said, "Hey, tell your dad." And she's like, "It's not my dad, it's my pop." And she was talking about Coach. We were like, "You can call him pop." She's like, "Yeah, like that's great." But it's great to see him. I got to talk to Larry Zonka.
Oh, that's cool.
Let me tell you something, man. This guy is 6'4", easy. I'm not kidding, Tone. And I'm sitting there going, in your prime at 240.
Yeah.
My gosh, that would be bring your lunch pail, to the freaking day, because you're going to go at this guy. I mean, and just bang, bang, bang. He was a total bruiser. I love talking to him. I've seen him there before. And last night he kept bringing up his O-line. He's like, we'd be in the huddle. Greasy would be barking all these signals. And every O-lineman would be looking at me going, run behind me. Run behind me. It was just great, man. But, man, what a nice guy. But, B, what a monster of a running back. Holy cow.
Yeah, listed at 6'3", 237.
He looks taller than that to me, but whatever. A good six. If he's 6'3" listed, on the official chart, that means he's probably 6'3" and a half.
Yeah.
Maybe
what I'm saying? Shoes had heels last night,
big
Tommy.
Guy. Maybe. Well, he was sitting down. He was sitting down.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's
240 still looks big sitting down.
He's a big guy.
Yeah.
I'm just, listen, I hit plenty of big running backs like Bettis and Eddie George and guys like that, but cheers to the old school, Miami Dolphin, Larry Zonka.
No doubt about it. We already had a little bit of Jaguars news this morning. They restructured a couple of deals, so they're trying to get in cap compliance as we get ready for free agency opening up next week, and they can't do anything until they get under the cap first. We know it's going to get done. It's just a matter of what steps are going to be taken to make that happen. Well, this morning we know Patrick McCary and Eric Murray. Yeah. They've restructured the deals on both of those guys. It creates about $10 million more dollars in cap space.
Right?
Yeah.
10.7.
Almost 11. So they're about 3.5, 3.8. I've seen on some numbers somewhere in there.
Sure.
Away from being under the cap. You can even look at, and we're going to do this, I think, here in the next segment. We're going to take a look back at last year in the free agency work that they did and what it looked like then, and maybe some of the ways that it was being talked about when it was going down. I found the article from Mike DiRocco, which included a couple different segments in it for each guy that they signed, each of the guys that the Jaguars brought in. But it was, one side of it was what the signing meant, and this was, again, as it was happening, and then what it risked, right, to bring in this guy on that number. Well, now we have a year where we know what happened with all these guys, so kind of taking a look back at that work that got done, especially in a year of free agency where I know I don't. Do you expect them to be... Basically, what kind of activity do you expect from the Jazz?
I don't think their biggest activity is going to be restructuring guys and figuring out who they're going to keep.
Yeah.
Maybe they have someone in mind. Maybe that's off the radar a little bit. That's not going to cost them, crazy amounts. But no, I don't know. I think they'll do one or two things, but I don't think they're going to make a big splash.
It's not going to be 10 guys like it was last year.
No, they did it all last year. I mean, that was part of what they did, and you can't always do that, especially when you're up against the cap. So I think what's interesting, look, so now and you're not surprised, both those guys will be here for at least another year, right? What do? They restructure means we give them the money up front.
Put it in a signing bonus,
Put it in a signing bonus, and then we put a year or two extension onto the back end of the deal that they'll never see. We're basically just moving the debt up a little, and hopefully we make enough and we're fine to cover.
So to make it easy for the public to understand what it means, right? Like, say like a guy like McCary, if they converted another... to make the math easy, because they put 3 years on the end of it, right? He already had 2 years on the deal. They put 3 more years at the end of voidable years at the end of it. So now it's 5 years left on the contract from a signing bonus perspective. So if you move all the money into a signing bonus this year, say it's $10 million again, to keep the math easy. Over those 5 years, it's a $2 million hit each year.
Correct. Instead of
on your cap, instead of eating it all now. Right. And that's the kind of stuff that they're going to have to do. It's the manipulation you can do with the math in the league.
Players love it.
Right. To allow them to be flexible. Players have to, like,
I mean, you got to be careful
restructure
with it.
Yeah.
Right? You know, with taxes and all that, but you should have a good advisor for that.
Hopefully they're all taking care of that.
All right, so here's a question. So the Eric Murray one was interesting. I was like, I wasn't even thinking about Eric Murray, but they saved a few million on him. So those two guys are back. If they don't restructure certain guys, like maybe Eric Armstead, does that say anything?
I certainly think it could, right? And it's one of those things that, again, as we talk about them trying to get cap compliant and what they may or may not do, is obviously a part of the conversation with how they choose to handle Walker Little and Eric Armstead. Right? Like how they view these guys. Again, they didn't sign them.
No, right.
It doesn't mean they didn't get out of them what they got last year.
Or that they don't like them either. Yeah.
And both guys were productive players for them on the roster last year. So I don't think there's any, rush to get rid of, those two guys specifically, but they allow them some flexibility if they do want to move them around, a little bit. So they don't have a whole lot of flexibility in a whole lot of spots on the roster. So those kind of guys come into play. Our Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day today asking, you heard Parker Washington in the open here on the show this morning, and he's loosely connected to the question of the day today, but not directly connected. Which option most matches your current expectations for Brian Thomas Jr. in year 3? After a great rookie season, disappointing but not terrible year number 2 for Brian Thomas Jr., your options in the poll this morning: number 1, wide receiver, better but not a star, more like year number 2, or more regression from Brian Thomas Jr. We'll kick that around as we go throughout the show this morning. I do want to look back at free agency last year when we return. Before we do that, though, RJ Saunders, how are you this morning, bud?
Doing well, guys. What's the haps?
R to the J.
Yeah.
What's up,
Just the Friday edition of Jaguars Today.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Why now? This is what I wanted to figure out, Tony. Why didn't you go to the gala? Why not?
Oh, I don't do events where the whole thing is just walking around.
Yeah.
I don't get around well enough to do the just walk around. And drink wine. That wouldn't help me either.
Get your ride, Tone.
I like it. That'll be for next week at the Players. I may need a ride.
That's right.
When we get out at the Players next week.
doubt.
But yeah. No, the wine gala is amazing.
It is.
And one of us has to be here for the show. That's really
somebody has to be the responsible one.
Yeah, I let Mike go do. He does it one night a year. It's like, yeah, man, go have fun. He does the hotel, the whole deal.
You can, consume plenty of wine while you're there. There's no doubt about that. But, they give it to you in little spurts.
I hear you.
So you got to, down 100 of them to, feel anything.
Mm-hmm.
At least me. So if you down 10 of them, it's like, not that big of a deal.
Yeah. Dempsey and I have both seen each other at the Super Bowl events where the bar is what we call open.
Yeah. What's your drink, Tone, if you have one?
I don't really have one.
Any liquor drink at all?
Not especially.
No.
Like if I do it, I'm a rum and Coke kind of guy. Like if I do it, that kind of thing.
Sure.
It's the same thing. It's like the Coke part of that's the more interesting part to me. It's like if I do it, I want it sweet.
Right.
Okay. And it means whatever it means.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah. It doesn't mean anything.
Right,
you like rum and Coke. A lot of people like rum and Coke.
Right. It's like, drink whatever you want to drink. If you're going to drink, just do it responsibly.
That's right, Tony. Great message on a Friday morning.
Is the way that I feel about. Let's look ahead or look back, actually, at the free agency group that they brought in last year. That article from Mike DiRocco, as we could put some grades on some of these moves from the Jags a year ago.
Cool.
And that's probably going to be more fun than trying to look ahead to anything they're going to do, because I don't think they're going to be doing much.
Looking forward to more restructuring, seeing what happens, because that says a lot.
Who it happens to is certainly going to tell us plenty as we get into the business of the offseason here for the Jaguars, as they get ready for the 2026 season. Tom McManus, RJ Saunders, Tony Smith here with you. You are listening to Jaguars Today on 1010 XL.
Jaguars Today for the renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
Second and goal from the 5-yard line.
Hear the voice of the Jaguars, Frank Franchi.
2 receivers right, 1 to the left. Crowd getting involved.
Afternoons on the Franchi Show
Victory formation for Jacksonville.
on 1010XL.
The Players' Championship returns to TPC Sawgrass March 10th through 15th. Experience golf's most iconic stage with enhanced food and beverage offerings, interactive fan attractions, and an atmosphere built for every type of fan. See the best players in the world, including world number 1 Scotty Scheffler, 2025 champion Rory McIlroy, and fan favorite Brooks Koepka take on the legendary Stadium Course and the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
If your lawn took a beating this winter, listen up. Prosser here for Julington Creek Pest Control. They've just started the first of 3 rounds of premium granular fertilizer. No cheap liquid fertilizer here. Custom blended for Northeast Florida lawns. Their certified technicians apply slow-release nutrients. Rebuild your lawn thick, strong, and green over time. Plus, they protect your home from pests and termites. Call Julington Creek Pest Control today. Our family serving yours since 1984.
Make more birdies with pointers from the pros on Brunch with the Tour with Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
Tour news, tips, and inside info.
Teed up by Clearwater Irrigation. Tuesday morning at 8:30 on 1010XL.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. If you've been wanting to upgrade your outdoor living space and just haven't pulled the trigger, you should call the experts at Lifetime Enclosures right now. From glass lanais to screened-in enclosures, Lifetime Enclosures and Flooring is the best in the business. Spring will be here before we know it. So give them a call today and upgrade that area that needs it the most. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal.
Stand back, Jason. I'm gonna
Sneeze? Yeah, I saw that coming.
It's all this spring pollen, Jason. It's outside and it's inside my house, and I just can't stop. I can't stop.
Sneezing? Okay, let me help you with that.
How can you help?
At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we can improve your indoor air quality with air purifiers, UV lights, and filtration systems. Every new system we install includes high-efficiency 4-inch filters that work better and last longer, even if you forget to change them.
Wow, that's amazing. It's amazing.
Life can get pretty dusty sometimes. If you spend all day, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Need or want cash? Beach's Jewelry and Pawn has cash available. Ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all, selling or pawning. Get cash on the spot at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Jacksonville is the flip side of Florida. And inside the flip side, the action never stops. If you're tired of hearing about the best games after the final whistle, don't get left on the sidelines. Whether it's a unique sporting event you've never seen, a weekend with the family, or a winning date night, Visit Jacksonville is your ultimate playbook. Get in the game. Head to visitjacksonville.com/locals or download the Visit Jax app today and see everything coming in 2026. Jacksonville. Experience the flip side.
1010XL, presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farrah doesn't flinch. Number 55 in the middle, he's Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
Tom McManus in with us as we continue along here on a Friday edition. And the drums kick in.
Yeah.
On one of the all-timers here.
Oh, kickoff. Come on. Are you kidding me? Like, you listen to this back when there was a kickoff, and you're the wedge buster like somebody may have been on occasion. Yeah, those were fun. You know, the key to busting the wedge is you got to hit the crease.
Mm-hmm.
You don't hit the play. I mean, you got to hit the player.
Right.
But you don't want to take the player head on. You want to think that you're going to, and then you hit the crease. And that's where the weakest spot is, in the middle of those two players.
Mm-hmm.
It's all physics talk.
It makes sense.
Or geometry or something like that, whatever that is.
It's both.
It's both. There's math in there somewhere.
Right. It's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, we want to take a look back at what the Jaguars did in free agency last year. We know a couple of those guys got restructured this morning. I found an article from Mike DiRocco from last year at the time, the Jaguars doing all the work they did in free agency, and it listed all the guys they signed and then had a little blurb about what it means and what's the risk, right, of the guys they brought in. Well, now we're a year in, so we can kind of assess the risk and what they got out of these guys a little bit better than you could at the time that they were signed. Jordan Lewis, the first name on the list, right? Jordan Lewis got a 3-year, $30 million deal from the Jags last year. The risk that DiRocco mentioned, Jarian Jones, whom the Jaguars drafted in the 3rd round the year before, finished his rookie season as the slot. And he did. He was one of the higher-ranked slots in the league by the end of that year. They also signed safety Darnell Savage in free agency the year before, but brought him in to play nickel. He ended up playing more safety toward the end of the season because of coverage issues with Andre Sisco and Antonio Johnson. And the Jaguars could opt to keep Savage at safety in 2025 and have Jones and Lewis work inside and outside. Well, we know what it wound up being with Jarian Jones. He was the second corner for the football team, and he was the nickel whenever they went to nickel. Right? Is how that worked. And it's also interesting that so many of the names that were mentioned there weren't a part of the picture once they got to it. Right? But in that, you know, Darnell Savage didn't play any kind of role.
He didn't do anything.
No. Andre Sisco was gone.
He was way overrated.
Antonio Johnson blew up.
Love him.
You know, especially in the second half of the season.
Yes. He's gotten better every year, Antonio Johnson.
Yeah.
I remember when he came in as a rookie, you're like, 5th round? How did he last to the 5th round? You're like, this guy flies around. He's big as heck for a safety.
Talked about as a second-round guy. Like, through the process, that's where everyone talked about.
I remember even they used him early on a couple blitzes. He was very effective, you know, coming off the edge. I mean, he's got a lot to offer, man. I like Antonio Johnson a lot.
How would you grade the Jordan Lewis signing a year later?
A to D?
Yeah.
Well, he got hurt, so that, you know, that factors in. But I give a solid B. I mean, he's one of the – look, he is well, we'll see with Travis Hunter, but we'll see how that works out. But he's their best cover guy. He is. He's a pro. He brings it. He's great for the locker room. He's great for the room. He's great on the field. Yeah, Jordan Lewis was – and if he didn't get hurt, I'd probably make it an A. But, you know, he got hurt. So, you know, you missed time. That's nobody's fault. It just is what it is. So,
yeah, there was a time about a quarter of the way through the season last year, we talked about him as team MVP kind of conversation where it was, you know, the talk that we were having around him. Eric Murray, the next one mentioned here on the list, they restructured the deal with him today. 3-year deal for Murray coming in now, obviously, with the couple of years added to the end of it. But 3 years, $10.5 million when he got signed. The risk that was mentioned. The Jags have not exactly gotten younger in the secondary with the addition of Murray and Jordan Lewis, who turned 30 in August. But they needed some steady, solid play to fix it. The Jags are likely to draft a safety as well, and Murray can help bring them along, but he's more of a stopgap solution at this point.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So,
grade, I'd probably say a C for Eric Murray. Now, again, he got hurt as well.
He did.
I do like his. I mean, he will come up and lay a lick. You know, he hurt himself laying a lick on one of the injuries. He came up. I forget who the back was. I want to say it was Genty in the Raider game. He came up and I mean, it was all. You love seeing safeties do that. You know, he reminds you Double D coming up and laying the wood, but he doesn't lay the wood. Eric Murray does like a Double D. So I don't know. It was okay. So like a C, maybe. Yeah. C.
It's about what I expected it to be. Right. So from that perspective, it's I think C is fair. Right, because it's certainly no worse than I expected it to be with Murray. And when he was available, I think he did solidify a bunch of things in the back end for him. Right, the communication issues they had the year before were not a big deal. Last year, and that's an easier thing to see go away once you get into the flow of a season. But for it to not be an issue at any point, like it was an issue week 1 of preseason, and then it was over.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because I can remember that first preseason game against the Steelers, and we had the conversations coming out of that game, and they couldn't get set.
Yep.
Right? Like they were having those kind of issues early on, and it just evaporated once they got into it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, you go back to what Campanile had to do with the defense, mid-year. Break it down to the bones. There was something not working. Communication's a big part of that. And coverage is all communication.
Yeah.
Especially zone. You got to communicate your what off to make sure everyone knows what's going on.
Patrick McCary, the other big name free agent. Jordan Lewis got a 5th-round compensatory pick, by the way, for Dallas.
Okay.
Patrick McCary got a 4th-round compensatory pick for Baltimore.
Okay.
McCary agreed to a 3-year, $37.5 million contract with the Jags.
Yeah.
With a max value of $39 million. We know he got the restructure this morning. What's the risk? McCary's run block win rate, 71.8%, ranked 27th among guards per ESPN research. Still good enough to help Derrick Henry have the year he had with the 1,900 yards, second highest total of Henry's career. It's also an improvement from Sheriff. So this is arguably the biggest upgrade the Jags have made in free agency. Did it play out that way?
No. Part of it's injury, too. I mean, that back injury, it's hard to play with a back injury, but no, I think McCary's probably in that C area. I don't think he was a bad player by any means. I just don't think – I thought coming from Baltimore, he would have a little more oomph, I know he's a tough guy and he's a physical guy, but I thought it was going to be a little bit more. Again, it's, get injured. It's hard to do that. I do think, look, if you said to me, who would be your right guard right now, or who would you like to see battle it out? I'd put Walker Little at right guard. I would. I mean, I think he only played it for a game or two, but I saw him take guys down the field, dropping them on their ass. You don't see that. I don't know. He's bigger. He's more powerful. McCary's a big guy. There's no doubt, but he's not 320 pounds, like 285, 290, I think.
Yeah.
But look, we'll see what he does this year. Obviously, you're gonna bring him back, and you're gonna compete for that guard spot. But I'd give him a C.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I want to have a bigger conversation about the offensive line for the Jags as we go through the show this morning. But let's talk about one more of the free agents that they brought in and wound up being a starter on that line.
Yeah.
Before we get to some of the other names. Robert Hainsey, 3 years, $21 million, 13 guaranteed for him coming in last year. The risk. The Bucs wanted to move on from Hainsey after his 2 seasons as a starter, drafted Barton 26th overall in 2024. The Bucs ranked last in the NFL in rushing in 23 with 88 yards a game, but jumped to 5th in 2024 with 2 new starters, Barton and Bredesen at guard. Obviously, that means Hainsey was not starting after having started the year before. That was very much a reflection of the conversations we were having about Hainsey. And I think especially in light of the last couple guys that we've talked about where you basically got maybe around what you might have expected from, I think Hainsey far exceeded what the expectation level was when they signed him. It was kind of like a guy we were like, all right, well, we'll see. Coach obviously likes him, but he was good.
You heard what Gladstone said about him, right? Like, go watch the one game he did start in Tampa, and this is the kind of guy we want as our center. And I'd give, especially at that contract, I'd give that an A-. I think. And by the way, no disrespect to Jonah Monheim. We'll see what he can do in year 2, but the play of the O-line went down when Hainsey was not in there. And part of it's just the experience of knowing all the calls, and part of it is he's pretty feisty. You know, he's pretty aggressive in his blocking, so which is contagious. And you saw that Ezra. You know, although Ezra I think's always been pretty physical, but it went across the line.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It meant something to be physical. I mean, think about all the great blocks, especially early in the season. Even probably throughout the season, but like Anton was putting guys on their back. You know what I mean? Hainsey was, and listen, they all got beat too. It wasn't like they were, we struggled in the run game for a little bit. It has to be, some of it due to the O-line. If you recall, I mean, there were like 5-6 weeks we didn't do anything in the run game,
right?
But we sufficed it with a great pass game that took over, or Trevor ran, or Trevor took off, or he was hot. Yeah, so. That doesn't happen just because something's not right up front. But no, I think Hainsey and knowing everything and playing the way he plays, I think I give an A-.
We'll get to the back half of last year's free agency class, and that's the back half you can go through a little bit more quickly than you can the front half, because the front half are the guys that came in as starters, played throughout the year as starters.
Right.
Most of them are expected to be starters going into year 2 in a Jaguars uniform this year. So just reflecting on what they did or didn't get done with the free agency class last year, we'll continue to dig around that. Do want to talk about the broader offensive line situation right here in Jacksonville as well as we continue along. Our question of the day, again, asking which option most matches your expectations for Brian Thomas Jr. in year 3 after a great rookie season and a disappointing but not terrible second season. We'll obviously talk about that as we go throughout the program here this morning as well. Tom McManus, RJ Saunders, Tony Smith here with you on a Friday edition of Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today.
For the renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. 1010XL. Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
The First Coast Games is an annual team-building challenge to introduce fun activities into the workplace and focus on your employees' health and wellness goals. These goals include some friendly competition, of course, including pickleball, cornhole, volleyball, flag football, and other team sports. The games will begin in March. Register your company and teams at fcymca.org.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Here's hoping for a raise the roof football season. And here's knowing Next Gen Roofing is up for any job. Game day or storm season, you need a team you can trust. And you know what? You don't need a glitzy roofing company. No shortcuts, no gimmicks, no nonsense. Solid roofs at competitive prices and a commitment to the First Coast community. Right now, save up to $300 on your next roof replacement. When you need a roof, you need Next Gen Roofing. Team with you, it's a win every time.
Hey Jacksonville, David Garrard here. If you want a street legal golf cart that's built with quality and style, check out Dynamic Drives and Designs in Jacks Beach. They have new, used, and fully customized carts from the top brands like Atlas, Dodge, and Pilot Car. Every cart gets a complete expert inspection, so you know it's ready to hit the road. Their team can help you design the perfect custom cart that fits your style and needs. For your custom golf cart, visit dynamicdrivesdesign.com today and see your perfect ride.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at over $5,000 per ounce, and silver is over $100 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold and silver for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
La playa is Spanish for the beach. If you can't remember that, the word Corona also works. Corona, La Playa awaits.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-7098. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-7098. That's 800-575-7098. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The playoffs are here, and smart upgrades happen in the offseason. Your pool should be no different. If your pool is outdated, worn down, or just doesn't match your backyard, now is the time to upgrade. Purple Heart Pool specializes in pool renovations. Now is the best time, so you're ready when the heat hits. Veteran owned and built on integrity, communication, and precision, Purple Heart Pools delivers remodels executed with discipline and attention to detail. Upgrade now, enjoy all summer. Purple Heart Pools.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Troy Green.
He's number 55.
Tom McManus.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
Continuing to kick around some of the free agents that the Jaguars brought in last year and looking back a year later on some of the contributions they got from some of these guys. Still a couple offensive linemen on that list that we hadn't gotten to yet in the discussion. We'll start with Chuma Edoga, the offensive tackle. 2 years, $7 million. The risk, as it was written about in DeRocco's article, this was not a flashy signing, but one the Jaguars needed to make. Once the team traded Cam Robinson last year and inserted Walker Little into the lineup, the Jaguars lost a reliable swing tackle. Finding an upgrade there was a priority that didn't get a lot of attention. The Jags didn't want to try and fill that in the draft. We all know what the role wound up being, for Edoga here last year. So I don't even know if swing tackle is exactly where you'd say he wound up.
No.
He was just
kind of utility lineman.
Right. So when you look at whatever your expectation was for him when he got here, what you got out of him in the year that he was here, how do you grade it?
I give him a B+, if not an A-. I tell you one thing about Chuma, man, he's a vicious blocker, and they like that a lot. I know he didn't play, like towards the end, it seemed like he was a healthy scratch, maybe. It seemed like that.
Was he healthy? I can't remember.
I can't remember if he was healthy or not. But anyway, when you signed him, you're like, oh, okay, let's see what he can do. And then, they had him at guard for a little bit in camp, playing tackle a little bit. He is a physical guy, and they want to be vicious up front. So I think that ended up being a good pick. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't expect anything. Expect him to be a backup, really. But when he got his opportunity, he made his presence known, I thought.
The other offensive lineman that they added, you don't have to worry about what his future looks like in Jacksonville because they traded him. Fred Johnson at offensive tackle. They wound up getting a 7th-round pick from the Philadelphia Eagles as he went back to Philadelphia.
Yeah, he played a lot this year because they needed him to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the real competition for left tackle last year was supposed to be between Cole Van Lanen and Walker Little. Cole was hurt during camp, so he wasn't out there at all. Fred never – every time they took the first team offense took the field, it was always Walker Little at left tackle. There was never a change in that.
Mm-hmm.
So I never thought Fred – the only thing I remember Fred chased down a pick or a fumble, and you're like, whoa, look at that guy move. He's a big dude. But I don't know. I'd say C. C-. I don't think he was very.
The story on him is what it is to this point in his career. When he's ready to go, right? Like when he's running his own engine, he's pretty good.
He's big and athletic,
right?
Big time.
And when he just goes through these stretches where it's like, does he care about this?
Right.
Like you're watching him go, does this matter to him at all?
Yeah.
And from a, the kind of player the Jags talk about wanting to bring in, once you kind of had that, it was like that's kind of the story on him when he got here.
Right.
And then when it showed up in little flashes while he was here, it's like, well, that won't last long.
No, right.
Right? Like that's the kind of thing that they're just going to be like, we're not keeping it in the building.
Yeah.
We'll get what we can. It's not that you can't see that there's something there.
Yeah.
With Fred Johnson, but it's like I don't think the Jags are as an organization, the kind of group that's going to wait on someone to start to look like they're enjoying doing it.
Yeah.
Right? Like the passion for the game, I think, is kind of a prerequisite for what they're looking for.
Yeah, and look, during camp, none of the tackles could block Trayvon or Josh.
Right.
He was one of them. Fred was one of them. So take it for what it's worth. But whatever, he's still playing.
Yep.
So good luck to him. But I think that may even be a D, but C-. I'll go C-.
Now the big miss. De'Ami Brown, 1 year, $10 million, a wide receiver. What's the risk? While Brown does help, the Jags still need to address a different need at slot after trading Christian Kirk to Houston because the drop-off from Kirk to Parker Washington is significant. The Jaguars are also stuck with Davis's contract, 3 years, $39 million with $24 million guaranteed for at least one more season. That's Gabe Davis, which is a lot of money for someone who could be the Jags' number 3 or 4 receiver if the team uses another high pick on one in the draft. And the De'Ami Brown lasted for about a month as far as where they were willing to keep giving him shots.
I tell you, he had a drop that hit him right in the hands.
Cincinnati.
Was it?
Yeah.
Over the middle. Great throw. And I don't think they ever trusted him after that. All during camp. He was the surprise during camp.
Yeah.
And all we knew about De'Ami Brown was what he did in the playoffs with the Washington football team the season before, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't know that much about him. But he had great chemistry with Trevor. The end of round caught our defense off guard, and he ran it almost every single time. De'Ami Brown did, and beat everybody to the corner. There were a couple of times I was like, "Whoa, this guy's man!" I really thought they were going to get a ton out of him.
Yeah, and it's the last play that he ran for the Jags was that end around, and he dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Right, and he hadn't been on the field basically. It felt like in 5 or 6 weeks, and they got him in at the end of a game that they were in control of. And they ran that end around to him, and he put it on the ground. And
then it's over.
It's done.
Yeah, it's over.
Like there's not even a way for him to get back in.
That's like a D-. I don't want to give the guy an F, but
that feels like an F to me.
Yeah.
Right. Like it just, and it's not that I understand the rationale for trying.
I came home with 3 D- my first semester at BC. They could have easily been Fs, but I'm glad they weren't.
Well, I think the reason you can make the argument for it not to be an F, from the perspective is when they saw that it was an F, they got off it.
Yeah.
Right? Like they didn't say, but our plan was keep trying, they said, do something else.
Right.
This doesn't work.
It's not working.
Right. Like they just acknowledged it and moved on to something else.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Look, we love Gladstone and the crew, but they're going to have misses, and they've had misses. It's okay. They've had more hits than misses, and that's what you need.
Well, and I said it when they brought the guys in last year.
Yeah.
Right? What they're doing with the Evan Ingrams and the Christian Kirks and the decisions they're making with this doesn't tell you anything about them except that they're trying to build whatever they're trying to build. Right? Like that's the only answer it gives you there. It doesn't take any guts to cut the last guy's stuff. Right? Like the guts is going to come when you brought in a guy, you believed in a plan, it's not working, and you say we can't do this anymore.
Right.
And De'Ami Brown is at least evidence that when it happens, they'll just say, we got to find something else.
Yep.
Right? Like, they're not going to be stubborn about the decisions they're making with any of these guys. A couple more of the free agents, the couple tight ends, obviously with Hunter Long, 2 years, $5 million. Johnny Munt, 2 years, $5.5 million. And then Nick Mullins as the backup quarterback for 2 years, $4.5 million. And I think all those guys, you can chalk them up to you got what you thought you were going to get.
What happened to Hunter Long, man? He was off to such a great start. They used him a ton in the red zone in the training camp, even in practice. They were always throwing to him in the corner of the end zone, it seemed, or the back of the end zone, nice and high, and he was making the catches. I thought him and Trev, that was another one. He had a drop. It was going to be his 3rd touchdown, and it was like they never went back to him after that.
Mm-hmm.
It was like we can't. Listen, it's trust, right? Maybe he dropped a couple in practice we don't know about. You know what I mean? Then you do it in a game. You're like, come on, we're giving you these opportunities. You're a guy that's got to make them. And he was early. I know he had a little injury too. Johnny Munn, I don't know. They just didn't really use him that much.
No.
I mean, even when he was out there, so. And then you got, Mullins, he came in spot duty. I think I say Mullins is probably a B just because he did what a backup QB is supposed to do, be that support. He knows the system a little bit, helps out with Trevor. They seem to get along, play okay when you're in there, don't screw things up. So I'll give him a B. The other two, though, I mean, those are C's. They just didn't do it.
It just is.
I don't know. Well, here's the thing. Is it fair to give him a C when you really weren't expecting anything?
No, and I think
I mean? So I don't know.
Right, like as we go back through these guys, and I want to talk about offensive line here in the next segment with you, Tommy.
Yeah.
But as we go back through these guys, the guys that they expected to have impact for the most part did. And the only one that didn't was De'Ami Brown. Right, like that's the one I think they had a plan when he came in. He was going to be at worst the 3. Right, and what they were doing in the pass game. They were trying to figure some things out. What's it going to look like with Hunter once you got to the draft and that had come in? Like the free agency decision was made before that decision was made, as you're looking back on it. So, but the guys they brought in to be starters were starters, and for the most part, they got at least what they expected, I think, could reasonably expect from those guys. There's not a whole lot of disappointment really in that group outside of De'Ami Brown. Like, De'Ami's the one where it's like, it just didn't work.
Yeah, I guess if I'm nitpicky, I thought McCary would be a dominant guard.
I hear you.
I really did. Coming from Baltimore, I thought he was just going to be such an upgrade to Sheriff and just, young, a little bit younger, more feistiness, more attitude, and that's just nastiness.
Exactly the offensive line conversation I want to get in with you is how we viewed some of this stuff last year versus where we see them at right now.
Okay.
Along that group as we continue along. Tom McManus, RJ Saunders, Tony Smith here with you. It's a Friday edition of Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Find Florida Gators basketball on 1010XL.
Fifth-ranked Florida travels to Kentucky for an SEC tournament tune-up at Rupp Arena. Gators Wildcats, Saturday at 4 on 1010XL.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here. I've been telling you about a great golf tournament that's coming to the First Coast. Well, it's finally here, and you've got the opportunity to get out there today and tomorrow and see LPGA Tour stars of tomorrow competing at the Atlantic Beach Country Club. That's right, going on through the 7th of March with the Epsom Tours Atlantic Beach Classic. It's presented by Access Golf, and it's the first stop on the pathway to the top 15 ladies getting their LPGA Tour cards at the end of the season. So get out there, enjoy some great weather, enjoy some highly competitive golf, and see some of the stars of tomorrow. The IQ Fiber Linkside Lounge is going to be your best value around. You get an all-inclusive ticket that includes food, beer, wine, and spirits for only $100. So visit AtlanticBeachClassic.com. Enter promo code IQ to get that special rate. And this afternoon, you can catch a fantastic Fairways to Fashion show presented by Bosco Builders featuring Epsom Tour players and Atlantic Beach Boutique stores. Get your limited tickets still available at AtlanticBeachClassic.com.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Bro, have you heard about the hottest and newest sports league in town?
Vanguard Sports League isn't just VIP, it's the standard. Smoke-filled tunnel intros, cool benches with canopies, big scoreboards, championship rings, and convenient locations all across Jacksonville. Oh, and mascot potties there hyping everyone up every game. No wonder it's the talk of the town. Spring and summer registration now open.
Search VanguardSportsLeague.com today.
Frank Michaels Live and Amplified Tour with special guest Tesla this Sunday night, St. Augustine Amphitheater. Voted one of the most electrifying and engaging shows on tour. Tickets on sale now at AXS.com. Brett Michaels and Tesla. The party starts now.
The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron. Totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens. Also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
Buying a diamond should be fun, not stressful. But at some stores, the pressure can be intense, with pushy salespeople and mandatory deposits. But at Beard's Diamonds, owner John Lupo says that's not cool.
They wanted to sell them only what they had, wanted a deposit right then and there. They did not want them to shop, and we don't do business that way. It's pretty sad that you don't want the consumer to go shopping. That must mean that they're not confident in their pricing.
It's different at Beard's.
We encourage people to shop. We want you to go shopping, to know that you're getting a better deal and a better education at Beard's. We will do anything we can to make you happy without putting deposits down.
No deposits, no commission sales, no pressure, no pricing games, no corporate rule books. John's son Ben sums it up nicely. At Beard's, it's laid back and relationship driven.
There's plenty of options out there, but we're looking to go the extra mile when people want to patronize us, and it brings us great pleasure to see two lives be connected together.
Beard's Diamonds, locally owned with over 4 decades of doing business the right way. At St. John's Town Center and online at beardsdiamonds.com.
Tom McManus buckles his chin strap as he joins Lauren Brooks and Taylor Dahl.
I just love man in uniform.
Helmets and heels. Afternoons 2 to 4. Served by Green Law Group on 1010XL.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Mac in the Middle, Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
Speaking of stadium anthems.
There you go.
A little bit earlier.
How about Metallica out at the Sphere?
I know.
You see that?
They're doing like a 2-night event. Yeah.
I hear tickets are like, my buddies looked into it, like $8G just to get in.
Yeah.
I'll crank them on iTunes.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
I've seen them before. They're great. They are great.
I know Stoff, when they were doing, who lives over across the sea for us. Yeah. When Metallica was doing a couple of nights where they were saying they were doing a new set every night. I think it was 3 or 4 nights in a row.
Wow.
Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like he sent me the set list of the night he got to go. I was like, that's
cool. Awesome.
Right.
No
and to be a
doubt.
band that's been around long enough to, like, they got 40 years of music.
Oh, from San Fran, by the way.
Yeah.
Hello, NFL. Anyway, Bad Bunny was fine. He was fine. I didn't care.
Yeah, it's not a Bad Bunny thing. It's
but Metallica would have crushed it.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? And anyway, I told you this story. We're up in Chicago like 4 years ago, and it's our last night, and Lollapalooza's starting, and all the kids wanted to go see this rapper, Little Baby or Little Big Baby or whatever it was. And my brother's boys included and our girls. So a friend of mine, Southside Joe, he's a ticket broker. He's like, man, I got passes. Let's go. So me, Joey, and my wife were like, we're not going to go see that. What else is playing? And Joey goes, come follow me. We had no idea what's going on. So Mike went with his boys and my girls to go see Little Baby. And then we went to the stage. We're like 50 yards from the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, who's playing, Joey? He's like, Metallica. I'm like, get out of here. He's like, it's Metallica. We were 50 yards from the stage. Next thing you know, Tone, they start playing. And they got the big video screens. Like, we're right next to the video.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. And you look back, and Grant Park is just loaded with people. I mean, there must have been 100,000 plus. I mean, it was such a cool experience to be able to say, I saw Metallica from 50 yards from this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was insane. And my Christina sitting there like, I've been telling her for a decade, you got to listen to Metallica. I don't think, country. Anyway, 2 songs in, she turns around. She's like, these guys are really good.
Yeah. Good luck at not getting caught up in the energy of a building with 100,000 people.
I know.
Right?
But here's the funny thing. Next time I'm in her car, what's on? Metallica. Yeah, it was great.
No doubt about it. I think Beef tells the story. This is from years ago.
Yeah.
Right? When he was still up in the Chicago area.
Okay.
That he went to some kind of festival up there, and it was early on, and he saw a band that was performing there that he was like, oh my gosh, like these guys are going to change whatever's going on. Yeah. And it was at the time, System of a Down was still touring on their first album.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he had never heard anything about them.
Yeah.
And he just saw, he was like, this is new.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
they're great.
Like that kind of thing. Every now and then you run into a situation like that.
Yeah.
You know, like you got to catch it. It's hard to run into anyone that was running into Metallica when they were on their way up. Like it's been a long time since Garage Days for Metallica. But obviously they're still kicking around.
Listen, I saw Guns. They opened for Aerosmith. Nobody, 1988. Nobody knew who they were. Appetite was just getting out, and we were like, "Oh my gosh, this band's unbelievable!" It was just insane.
Did want to talk to you about offensive line, and we'll do that as we get into the second hour of the program here this morning, as we look at and the questions I'm going to ask you, Tommy.
Yeah,
so that you can have an idea of it's not complicated.
No, save it. I like it raw. Let's save it.
You like it? Okay.
Yeah, let's save it.
I can do it that way if you'd like to.
That I don't prepare. We just give it to you right from the gut.
All good. As we get into the second hour of the program, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders, Tony Smith here with you. It's Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today. You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Superior products, exceptional service. 1010XL.
The quality and standard of your life will not be determined by how well you play football, but by how well you confront adversity. Attitude.
Where attitude is altitude.
If you never saw Zeppelin live, now you can know what it's like. And if you did, relive the magic of Led Zeppelin live. Get the Let Out is back at Florida Theater March 8th. Get the Let Out. Find out what it felt like to see Zeppelin live. Get tickets now at floridatheater.com.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
All right, Jackson, let's talk about it. Spring cleaning feels great until your drains remind you what they've been holding on to all winter. If your sink's burping, your shower's backing up, or your toilet's hesitating like it's reading a blitz, it's time to call in the pros. Call Duck Duck Rooter. During their spring drain cleaning promotion, get your drains cleaned plus a free camera inspection for just $129. Must have outside clean out, honest pricing, proven experience, no fourth quarter surprises. When you're stuck, call the Duck. That's 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
Take a walk on the wild side and step into the great outdoors. Look at this beast. Captain Kevin and Captain Kirk join Jeff Lageman every Saturday morning from 7 to 10 on the Nimnet Outdoors Show. You got it. On 1010XL.
The Players' Championship returns to TPC Sawgrass March 10th through 15th. Experience golf's most iconic stage with enhanced food and beverage offerings, interactive fan attractions, and an atmosphere built for every type of fan. See the best players in the world, including world number 1 Scotty Scheffler, 2025 champion Rory McIlroy, and fan favorite Brooks Koepka take on the legendary Stadium Course and the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about not looking at the rearview mirror of unforgiveness. It's so easy to keep looking in the past when someone has hurt or offended us. What we don't realize that if we keep looking at the rearview mirror of anger, it will cause us to miss out on the good things that God has in store right in front of us. Friends, looking in the rearview mirror of the past will never give you peace in the present.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Blue here for the blue. Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Are high-interest credit cards and other loans sucking the life out of your finances? It's time to say no more. Let Loan Pronto tap the equity on your home and get the cash you need now so you can pay it all off. Hey, it's Prosser here. Corey and Jack called Loan Pronto in a matter of days. They had $160,000. They kept their 3% mortgage intact. Didn't even need an appraisal, and with all that cash, they wiped out all their credit cards and 2 car loans, saving $2,000 a month. You can do it too. LoanPronto.com, the rapid equity loan program, can get you $100,000, $200,000, even $500,000 in cash. Chloe and Ethan just did it. Consolidated all their high-interest debt into one super low monthly payment, giving them an extra $1,000 a month. Imagine, pay off all the credit cards, slash your monthly payments, breathe easier. Get your life back. Interest rates are at 3-year lows. Call Loan Pronto today, 904-999-1500. That's 904-999-1500. Or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
PGA Tour star Ricky Fowler. If you want to be the best, you have to practice with the best. That's why I had Southwest Greens install and maintain my putting green, and my synthetic lawn, and my chipping area, and my practice bunker area, and my bocce ball court, and our pole vaulting area.
Southwest Greens is the world's premier manufacturer and installer of putting greens, synthetic grass, chipping areas, practice bunkers, and just about anything else you want to do in your yard.
It's Southwest Greens. Log on to southwestgreensofjacksonville.com to see what they can do to your backyard.
Here's your 1010XL local sports update sponsored by Baker Glass. Florida is ranked number 5 in the AP Tops 25 and number 5 in the USA Today Coaches Poll. They face Kentucky. You can hear the game Saturday afternoon beginning at 3:30 on 1010XL 92.5. The Orlando Magic steal one in Dallas. Wendell Carter Jr. hammered home the go-ahead dunk with 1.4 seconds left, and the Magic edged the Mavs. Jalen Suggs stayed clutch with a late 3. That's your 1010XL local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
Right now, 80 degrees at 11:03. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farrah and Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farrah doesn't flinch. Number 55 in the middle, he's Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
Let's talk a little offensive line. I've been teasing it for about half an hour now, Tommy.
I know.
We'll
it's time. You got it seasoned up right.
Every now and then. It just takes a little bit of time.
That's right.
And the questions aren't complicated, and they're the kind of questions that we've kicked around from time to time, over the course of the last year or so. But looking back on it now, as we were taking a look back at the free agency class last year, and there were a bunch of guys that had an impact, obviously, on the offensive line. Starting center, McCary is the starting guard. As we got into the season, it was unclear exactly where he was going to land. The expectation, especially with the contract, was he's going to start somewhere. Right on the offensive line for the Jags last year. I don't think we feel necessarily that way going into year number 2 for McCary, which is part of the questions that I'm asking here. Looking back, who did you think the Jaguars' 5 best offensive linemen were going into the season? By the time we got to kickoff last year, who did you think the 5 best offensive linemen were, and who do you think are the 5 best right now?
Okay, so I got to not include Cole Van Lannon because he was hurt.
Sure.
Now, the latter part, he's
in the 5 now.
Top 5. He's one of my favorites. Ezra, for sure. I think Ezra's a beast of a guard. I do, man. He just plays the game the right way. He can get real vicious out there. Mm-hmm. He put many guys on their back. I like him a lot. Hainsey, for sure. Anton had a good year. He did. He had a good year.
That's 4 of them.
Yep.
And those are the current 4.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You would say so. Yeah. Unless they're thinking of something with Anton on the left side. I don't know if they are or why they would. But
so Van Lanen would be in the current four. The other three guys I think were among your group going into the season last year are currently in the group.
Yeah, they
going
would be
into 26.
I wouldn't have McCary in that group yet, but I would have him right outside the group, I guess.
Okay. Was he in your 5 last year?
I thought, yeah. I mean, I thought he was definitely going to be, like I said, I thought he was going to be a dominant guard for us and like bring this. The vision was, Ezra, Hainsey, and McCary just kicking the, out of people. You know what I mean?
Where did Wyatt Milam fit in that for you?
I didn't see enough out of him yet. Okay. I mean, just because they draft him, I mean, I trust the guys, obviously, and I know he played at West Virginia. I know they breed him different.
Yeah,
they do. I played against West Virginia. They're vicious. That's how they teach their O-line to play. He played tackle. I think he can play tackle, but I didn't see enough. I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, he's our starting guard. He's got to show a lot more, in my opinion. At least, maybe not in their opinion, but in my opinion, during camp. Like, let's see him really stand out. He did show that he's very athletic. He is aggressive. He's got a little of that nastiness in him. You can see that. So he may be, but I can't right now say that he's going to be.
I can remember last year going into the season before whatever the injury thing happened with Wyatt Milam, asking a similar kind of question to Leon Searcy one day during crosstalk. I asked him, who do you think, right, projecting a year ahead at that time, I was like, who do you think when we come out of the 2025 season, who will the Jaguars' best offensive lineman be? Yeah. Because I had asked something along the lines the day before of who is their best offensive lineman right now, and McCary was often the answer, right, as we were getting ready for the season last year.
Last year.
Yeah, that's often the answer you would get on who is the best offensive lineman for the football team. And I think in hindsight, we all probably should have said Anton. Like, even with our doubts about him, like that was the most reasonable guy to have as who you thought was actually their best offensive line going into the season.
Or Ezra. Is he coming back? Yeah.
Right, like that kind of thing. But asking that question to Leon last year, who will be the Jaguars' best offensive lineman coming out of 25? Milam. Right, like that's the level of confidence I think a lot of people had in Wyatt Milam going into the season last year. And I can understand why that would be shaken a little bit. We just didn't see enough.
I don't think even in camp, I mean, he made some nice blocks. I mean, he got up to the linebacker level nice. He's very athletic. They tried him at left tackle. So here's the thing, okay? So like I said before, Walker Little was never in, jeopardy of not being the left tackle. I mean, he always went out with the first team.
Yeah.
They played Wyatt. He got hurt or something or was dinged up. They played Wyatt at left tackle that one day in camp, full pads. I remember it. And maybe it was 2 practices. But then they never put him back out there. You know what I mean? And you're like, okay, so that means something. They, if they thought, wait, this kid's got something at left tackle, let's see how much he's got and give him a shot at maybe he can be the guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they didn't. Now, granted, the way they handled the O-line last year, Tone, was kind of a cluster. Not to them, but to everyone else watching. You're almost like, well, are you going to pick a starting O-line yet? You know what I mean? Like, you got these guys playing all these different –
They played them everywhere until they didn't.
It turns out why they did it was the right way to do it because it gave them a lot of versatility and a lot of flexibility. But you did think that Milam was going to – because they drafted him, that he was going to be, a contender for the starting position. Maybe he is in year 2. Look, a year in, you're lifting the weights with the team. You're hanging around. The coach is, coaching you up. Your practice. You know what I mean? Like, your second year, you should feel unbelievable. I mean, you've already been through it. Like, the whole team, even the coaches, like, you should feel unbelievable.
Yeah, and
like,
a rookie offseason it's a different animal.
Yeah. Right, absolutely.
Like, it's just the whole process of being a rookie in the NFL, it's just
absolutely
there's so much that you have to deal with.
Yep.
I do have another big question that I'm going to ask you, but I won't tell you what it is because I know you don't want me to.
Okay.
Before I do get to that, though, let's take a quick look around the rest of the National Football League.
Now, gems around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Houston is signing defensive end Danielle Hunter to a one-year, $40 million deal to keep him there with the Texans for one more season. Houston also re-signing offensive tackle Trent Brown on a one-year, $7 million deal. We mentioned the Bears were sending wide receiver DJ Moore to Buffalo yesterday in the last segment of the show. The compensation hadn't been announced at that time. Chicago is sending Moore and a fifth-round pick over to the Bills. We'll be getting a second-round pick back from Buffalo in return. Seattle signed linebacker Drake Thomas to a 2-year, $8 million deal. Washington signed defensive end Drake Jackson to an extension. Denver has agreed to a 2-year deal with offensive lineman Alex Palczewski. And Atlanta will release wide receiver Darnell Mooney as teams all across the league trying to get in compliance with the cap, saving a little bit of money in a bunch of different spots. Want to kick around the question of the day today, Tommy, with the Brian Thomas Jr. angle and some of the kind of ancillary questions I see around the question of the day today as we continue along here. You're listening to a Friday edition of Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today. From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. So, what did Jeff Prosser do before 1010XL?
He's a world-famous bounty hunter.
Jeff Prosser.
I'm a licensed bounty hunter.
Start the day with laughter.
I hate to toot my own horn, but,
The Drill.
Toot toot.
Mornings on 1010XL.
Firehouse Subs is adding a new heavy hitter to the roster, the Chicken and Cheddar Rancher. Grilled chicken, melted cheddar, crispy bacon stacked high with fresh toppings, and creamy buttermilk ranch. The Chicken and Cheddar Rancher, only at Firehouse Subs.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Looking for golf that doesn't feel like golf? Welcome to Pine Royale, Callahan's new golf entertainment destination. Play a 9-hole par 3 course, compete in TrackMan-powered driving bays, and get ready for all-new 18-hole mini golf coming soon. As the sun goes down, the course lights up. Add in great food, a full bar, and space to hang with the whole crew, and suddenly golf feels a whole lot more social. Search Pine Royale Callahan and come play today.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web, precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
Former Gator Patrick Young pours out orange and blue passion with Hacker on the Gator Bites podcast.
Patrick Young, coming to life.
Tipped off by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Fridays on the video and social channels of 1010XL.
The Florida Forum welcomes world-renowned chef and humanitarian Jose Andres at the Center for Performing Arts March 31st. His impact spans the globe as founder of World Central Kitchen, Presidential Medal of Freedom recipient, and global leader using food as a force for change. All proceeds for the Florida Forum benefit the Women's Board of Wilson Children's Hospital, supporting a new outdoor play area for behavioral health services. Get your tickets now at thefloridaforum.com.
Alert! Alert! Termite swarms are active right now in Jacksonville, and once they get inside, damage can happen fast. Termites don't knock, they silently attack the structure of your home, leaving behind costly repairs and long-term headaches. Protect what you've worked hard for with the proven protection homeowners trust. Terminix with advanced termite treatment and prevention solutions. Visit Terminix.com and schedule your free termite inspection today.
Get a healthy start in 2026. The Florida Department of Health in Duval County is here to help you get healthy and stay healthy all year long. Our dedicated team is committed to providing high-quality care and trusted public health services for our community. Our mission is simple: to protect, promote, and improve the health of you and your family. Learn more about our programs and services by visiting duval.floridahealth.gov.
Make Capital Glass and Shower Doors your premier choice for top-quality glass solutions. With over 40 years of expertise, their team specializes in commercial and residential projects. From elegant shower doors to modern frameless enclosures, they've got you covered. But that's not all. They also offer glass railing systems, glass wine cabinets, and much more. For unmatched quality and service, choose Capital Glass and Shower Doors. Your vision, their expertise. Visit online at capcoglass.com.
For the ultimate and unique gift ideas, visit CuneFlowers.com. JJ LaSelva here, and no matter what the reason, Cune Flowers has it all. Sending flowers was never so easy. Online, on the phone, or in the showroom, Cune Flowers hits a grand slam home run every time.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. You're Mackin' with Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
Our question of the day today about Brian Thomas Jr. has regression as one of the 4 options for him in the responses, right, to the poll question here this morning. We'll weigh in on our expectations for him as we go through it here. But I have a kind of related question for you, Tommy.
Okay, cool.
Where are you most nervous about regression for the Jaguars as a team as of right now? It doesn't have to be an individual player like Brian, could qualify if you wanted him to, for this kind of thing. It can be anything. But where does your mind go when I talk about potential regression for the Jaguars going into 2026?
I think it's as a team for me because we've seen it before. Where they have a great year, everyone's hyping them up. Everyone's talking about them as the next up and coming.
22 to 23 was that kind of thing.
17, 18.
They were an in vogue Super Bowl team
8.
at 18 and 23.
Yeah. I mean, think about that. And think about after 07. Like 08, we thought we're one guy away. And they weren't, obviously. So I'm a little bit, and because it's human nature to, you go from 4-13, you got a brand new coach and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's expecting much out of you other than inside that building. You know what I mean? And maybe the media, because you get to watch every day and you're like, hey, you see 8 wins, 9 wins, maybe 10, something like that. So I think when now the tables have turned, you've won 13, you're on all the national shows, they want you to be back on even more. Can you guys keep it together? Handling defeat's one thing. You know how to handle defeat. They've shown that. But handling success, and they think they've shown that during the year, but handling it from year to year is a really challenging thing to do because you got to make sure your guys believe what you're selling. And what are you selling? Hey, Ben, we haven't done anything. We're starting over. We're starting at 0. We are resetting. We're not last year. We're this year. So don't believe the clippings. Don't believe the hype. Don't get caught up in it. Listen, Tony, we saw it firsthand in 23, okay? Even the players were in the hype machine. Even the players talking about, we're going to, the records we're going to break. All the stuff we're going to do. And you didn't do anything. You know what I mean? 23 started off fine, then you crapped on your leg, and it went south big time. So can you keep that humility and the hunger? You got to have both, right? You got to be like, okay, yeah, we had a great year last year. Yeah, I feel really good about it. Yes, it's bringing me into this year. But guess what? I'm not resting on my laurels. Remember that old cliche?
Mm-hmm.
Don't rest on your laurels. Well, it's a real thing. Don't sit like, hey, well, look at last year. No, screw last year. Last year's over. But that's got to be now it's easier said than done. Like I can sit here and tell you that's how. But you got to have every single player on board with that. And that starts in the weight room in March, doing the sprints out in the field. It's not, we'll work out tomorrow. We'll work on our pass sets later. No, it's I'm hungry as a you-know-what, and I got to go out there and make this happen. So I do believe they have the right people in place. Baselli makes me feel good about it. I know how Liam is and how James grabs their guys. So I do feel good about it. Don't get me wrong. But if I had to pick, it's more like, are you guys going to be able to handle what's coming? because you know what's coming. They're going to be the darlings. Trevor's going to be a darling again. The team's going to be a darling. Liam's going to be a darling. Every national pundit media outlet is going to want to do a story on the Jacksonville Jaguars as they go into 2026. Why? Because they had a phenomenal year last year, and everyone's expecting what? The same thing this year.
Yeah, everyone always does.
Yeah.
Like, you have that kind of year, the next year, the expectations only grow.
Way higher.
I'm going to be curious to see when we get to the point in the offseason where everyone's making their picks, right? Just how split it is between Houston and Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Right? Because that Houston defense is a lethal monster.
No doubt.
Right? And it doesn't look like they're losing a whole lot of juice when it comes to that side of the ball going into this offseason. So they are still formidable.
Yep.
Right? In that regard. And I do wonder, you mentioned the offseason from 22 going into 23. We talked about that a little bit with John Shipley when he joined us on Wednesday this week. And in 22, I can remember like Trent Baalke talking about that they weren't going to be big players in free agency, right? Like that's the offseason where they had the 3 guys that everyone was desperate for them to keep. Figure out a way to keep everybody, right? It was, they wanted all 3. They got Ingram back. Right? And the other 2 they let walk.
Oh, right. I see what you say. Yep. Yep.
They let walk, and they got the compensatory picks the next year. They had not been a team that was ever in that kind of game, right? And it looks like they're going to be doing a similar thing this offseason. But I look at the offseason going from 22 to 23, and it felt like a team that did get a little bit complacent, to your point there, Tommy, where it did feel like even the way they talked about it was it's built, right? Like we're where we need to be. We're where we're supposed to be. That's when the best team that the Jaguars have ever had, like your owner was told something where he felt comfortable saying something like that in public. And that was that transition from 22 to 23. And they started that season 8-3. And I look at what's already starting to kind of happen in this offseason, and it doesn't feel like the same thing to me because it's not that I don't think they would be active if they could be active. I think they're looking at their circumstances and going to have to do it a different way, right? But they're going to lean so heavy on the Cohen-Trevor thing, right? Like if they're going to be successful in 26, it's because that combo is the combo we saw in 25. And if they get that, then I think they are competitive in 26 and here for a while, potentially in the league. But if you get 26 Trevor turning into 23 Trevor again for that back half of that season. And the injuries caught up with them. Right? Like all that stuff happened. Like it all just like it was an effect. It just kept compounding on.
Yeah, 23 and 08 are similar because 23, all you heard was, we're bringing 21 of 22 guys back. Remember that?
Yep.
And everyone's like, oh, that's all you need. We don't need anything. We got them all. We got it all. And then you're like, well, you didn't. You started off strong, and then you faded. You didn't have any quality backup at all, which I never understood. I was like, because I was a backup and a starter. Like, I did both.
Yeah.
And so did other guys that were on the team that I'm still friends with, like Boyer and Cobbin. We never felt like we were lesser than the starter at all. We were like, no, we can fill that void.
Yeah.
Maybe not be as athletic or whatever, but we could play the game. And so I always felt like your backups should be able to start without question. And I don't mean be a superstar. Like, say you got a superstar at the position. I'm not saying your backup's going to jump in and be the superstar, but he should be able to start and hold his own on any given Sunday. That's what backups are supposed to be made of.
Which is what they got from a bunch of guys last season.
Well, that's what raising the floor means.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what, when James Glad says, hey, we're raising the floor of this thing, meaning if my guard goes down, I can have a guy that steps in there and we don't miss a beat.
Yeah.
He may not be the super duper athlete or whatever our starter is, but we don't miss a beat with him in there because he knows how to play football.
How would you answer the question of the day today? Which option best matches your current expectations for Brian Thomas Jr. in year 3 after a great rookie season, disappointing but not terrible second year? Your options: number 1 wideout, better but not a star, more like year 2, or more regression from Brian Thomas Jr. Where's your gut with him at this point in the process?
My gut brings me to LL Cool J. Don't call it a comeback. He's been here for years is what I think he goes back to number 1. I do. I think they get to him. I think he realizes what it's going to take to be that number one. He also understands how important Parker is to the offense, how important Jacoby Myers is to the offense, how important Brenton Strange is, and the back out of the backfield. But I think he goes back to the kind of receiver that we all believe that he was going to be after year one. I think he's got that kind of talent. And I think him and Trevor have to spend a lot of time together working on timing. I really do. Because just think about it. A lot of his success came with Mac Jones in the year that he was a rookie, Brian Thomas. They never, even in camp, they weren't clicking. If you remember, Brian Thomas was getting really frustrated during camp. Now, I don't know what's going on in his brain at the time. You know what I mean? We don't know. We have no idea. You hear, the story of his friend dying.
The teammate,
teammate. So look, things affect. They do. We're human. Those things affect. I think he comes back with a vengeance. I really do, man. And that's why a lot of people are like, you should let him go or trade him. You don't trade that. You don't trade that talent. You turn it around and you show him how much love you have for him, and that you're also going to give him some tough love. And you're going to say, Brian. I mean, look, if I had Brian Thomas in a room, I'd be like, Brian, you are so incredibly gifted, but you've got to put everything into your craft to be one of the great ones. It ain't going to happen just showing up. And I'm not saying that he's lazy. I don't know anything about that. All I know is I'm gonna reiterate what the great Jimmy Smith says when he watched Brian Thomas. I wish he was more defiant off the line. Like more explosive off the line. And if you watch Brian Thomas run routes, he's kind of a slow, I don't want to call it a lollygagger, but he feels like he's a little lollygagging, instead of like really getting into that route. And
there's no urgency in it.
It doesn't feel urgent.
Or it's not urgent enough. Yeah.
Good call. So when you do that, for the record, then they can't read you. You know what I'm saying? You come off the line every time with that vengeance. They're not going to know if it's run or pass. They're not going to know if you're if you're cutting it at 5.
I can remember the videos.
Or you're going deep.
Going on 25 years ago now of, they would have the downfield on camera shots of like Torrey Holt running downfield routes.
Yeah.
Right. And they're trying to give you the view. This is what it feels like to be a defensive back in the NFL.
Yeah.
Right. With this guy running down the field at you. Yeah. And they'll pause it when he's about to do whatever he's going to do on the route. When the route's really about to start, they would pause it so that you could basically be in the position of what's happening.
Yep.
And every time they would run all the day, it's like you couldn't guess.
Right.
Like, or all you could do was guess.
That's the key.
Like what he was showing you was the same every time.
Yep.
And it's the advantage that an offensive player has over a defender is they know the play.
Right.
Right? So you need to sell something to it. And we saw Brian do it his rookie year several times where there was some urgency. Okay. At times it just wasn't consistent enough.
What's a DB's biggest fear?
Over the top.
Getting beat deep.
Yep.
What do we call him? Toast.
Yep.
Nobody wants to have that nickname, right? So you have to get that DB believing that you're going deep every single time.
The burner's on.
And the second they turn their hips is the second you make your move.
Yeah.
That's what the greats do. They set that DB up. They're like, okay, you're gonna be patient, you're gonna wait. Well, I'm gonna wait too. And I'm going to show you that I'm coming at you full speed. And if you don't get on your horse to turn and run to make sure you catch up with me deep, you're toast. And the minute you turn those hips, I'm cutting on the dig. I'm coming across the middle, and that ball's going to be right on time, and it's going to be unstoppable. I will say the one route I want to see more of out of Brian Thomas is the 7 to 10 to 12-yard out. It's unstoppable when Trevor puts it in the right spot, and he has been putting it in the right spot last year. It's high and outside, not too high, not over his head high, but high and outside to where only that receiver gets. To me, that's a clockwork type of play, and they should, by the way, they should have gone to those plays at the end of the wild card game. Those are the ones you can go right down the field on a team, because why? How is he setting them up? Because they're afraid he's going to go deep, and the minute they turn, boom, you click it to the outside, and boom, the pass is on time, and it's a first down pretty much every time.
Tommy voting with the 40% of our listeners so far this morning. with Brian Thomas going back to being the number one wide receiver. Still believing in that promise of him. I'd probably vote the better but not a star category, right? I'm kind of in that wait-and-see mode a little bit with him. Not anywhere near give-up mode on Brian Thomas Jr., but a better but not a star is where I'd vote. That's about half the vote here this morning, so that's about 90% in those two categories. More like year two, getting around 9%, and more regression from Brian Thomas Jr. way down on the list. At least there's still a confidence being expressed here within the fan base here in Jacksonville. Tommy, now you and I are going to have a little bit of fun.
All right.
I haven't told you about I know, but I had an idea about a month ago. We had so much fun doing the tail of the tape week to week.
That's right.
Right, with the Jaguars getting ready for game day.
Yeah.
And the first Friday that you were coming in after the Super Bowl, I had a thought in my head. I was like, I wonder if we can figure out a tail of the tape, but do it with like some pop culture, maybe music, something like that instead. And so I've come up with a bunch of categories, right? And we are going to do a tail of the tape. I'm going to try it out with you first.
Okay.
A tail of the tape when we return. And just to get it in your head as we go into it, this one I will. You at least have to know what it is before we get into the break here. And then I won't tell you categories, but we'll get to it on the other side.
Yeah.
The tail of the tape is, I put out the poll last night.
Okay.
Which is your preferred song between Metallica's Enter Sandman, AC/DC's Thunderstruck?
Ooh.
We will do a tail of the tape with those two songs when we return as we continue along on a Jaguars Today Friday edition here on 1010 XL.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. It's a test of patience and power.
Here they come, side by side for the lead.
This Sunday at Phoenix.
Oh boy, here we go. This is going to be tight right here.
NASCAR is revved up by the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234 and 1010XL.
Gold is now around $5,000 an ounce, and silver at an all-time high. If you need cash to help pay bills, then you've got to go to the Estates Roadshow. Gold and silver, old rings, chains, even broken jewelry. Don't wait. Cash in while gold and silver are hot. Go to the Estates Roadshow Monday through Friday in two great locations, St. Augustine and Palm Coast. Bring your gold, silver, coins, diamonds, and watches, even broken pieces, and get cash on the spot. The prices of gold and silver are at an all-time high, so there's never been a better time to sell. No appointments, no fees, no pressure, just friendly professional buyers with over 35 years in the business. Go to the Estates Roadshow Monday through Friday in St. Augustine at World Golf Renaissance, just off I-95 and International Golf Parkway, and in Palm Coast at the Holiday Inn Express, just off 95 and Palm Coast Parkway. Get some cash in your hands today to help pay those bills at the Estates Roadshow. For more info, visit estatesroadshow.com and follow Estates Roadshow on Facebook for all upcoming events.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
This is Jeff Middlecoff with Cogent Bank. My associate Ryan Salem and I joined Cogent Bank because we wanted to revolutionize the mortgage business, just like Cogent Bank has revolutionized the banking business. So Ryan Salem and I are able to leverage the power and stability of Cogent Bank to go out and find our clients the best investors, the best products, and the best rates in the entire country for your particular mortgage loan. Of course, you don't have to be a customer at Cogent Bank to take advantage of our mortgage services to buy or refinance your home. We offer jumbo loans, VA, FHA, conventional, and investment loans. At Cogent Bank, we offer mortgages nationwide, so we can help you with a second home or help a family member who lives or is moving to another state. Call Ryan Salem or myself, Jeff Middlecoff, at Cogent Bank today, 904-442-9191, to see how we can help you with any of your mortgage loan needs, whatever or wherever they may be.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, Cogent Bank, NMLS ID 402296, Ryan Salem, NMLS ID 1182429, Jeff Middlecoff, NMLS ID 249086.
Homeowners, ready to open your home to spring and shut out high energy bills? It's 31 days of spring savings with Renewal by Anderson. Right now, buy 2 windows or doors and get the third 60% off. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. But this offer expires March 31st. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Hey, it's Brent with Arcosa Crushed Concrete. If you've got concrete or asphalt rubble on your site, let me buy it from you, and I will recycle it into construction material for your future projects. Arcosa Crushed Concrete. Get paid for what you don't need.
Discover downtown Jacksonville's newest go-to spot. Pour Tap Room Jacksonville brings you 2 floors of over 80 self-pour craft beers, wines and cocktails, plus live sports, live music, and private event space. And right next door, Pizza Dynamo fires up made-to-order pizzas, slices and calzones, packed with bold flavor. Pair a pint with a fresh pie at Pizza Dynamo and Pour Tap Room, downtown at Laura and Forsyth.
Hey Jacksonville, David Garrard here. If you want a street legal golf cart that's built with quality and style, check out Dynamic Drives and Designs in Jacks Beach. They have new, used, and fully customized carts from the top brands like Atlas, Dodge, and Pilot Car. Every cart gets a complete expert inspection, so you know it's ready to hit the road. Their team can help you design the perfect custom cart that fits your style and needs. For your custom golf cart, visit dynamicdrivesdesign.com today and see your perfect ride.
For 25 years, Instant Keys has been the go-to locksmith service for car keys, transponders, and even high-tech smart locks. For honest, professional locksmith service,
Instant Keys comes to you. 1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
A lot of talk about looking back at the Jaguars 2025 free agency moves with not a whole lot of high expectations for what they're going to do in 2026. I'm hoping, Tommy, that what we're about to get into here will be the golden moment of the show today.
All right, cool.
Let's do a tale of the tape, try to do a little bit more of a pop culture thing. I had to make up the categories myself, right? So to just kind of split it up in different ways. And so it's a little bit all over the place, and I'm open to suggestions for how to improve, you know, the way to think about some of these things, but doing a head-to-head with Metallica's Enter Sandman and AC/DC's Thunderstruck.
Yeah.
Right? And I thought it'd be fun to do with you, Tommy, because I know those are kind of at the top of your list of like the stadium anthems.
Yeah, the stadium anthem for
right.
sure.
And your top bands too. There may not be number 1 and 2, but they're on the short list.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Right, of your favorites of all time. So the first category I came up with was what I called box office, which would be sales, views, listens. So I already looked at the Spotify numbers on these guys.
Okay.
Right, for these tracks. Thunderstruck has been played 2.15 billion times.
Oh my gosh, no kidding.
Enter Sandman has been played 2.01 billion times.
Wow.
So the check mark in that category goes to Thunderstruck.
Yeah.
Here to begin. The next category I call cultural impact. So I would categorize that as how has it impacted what came later?
Okay.
Or which band or song is more influential in your mind, Tommy, between it can be the song or the band because you can expand it here a little bit. But if you had to pick one or the other.
Yeah, can I guess one of them?
No, this is you.
Oh.
Like you're doing the tail of the tape. I'm just giving you what the categories are.
Oh, I got you.
Like you have to pick which one do you think is the more influential from a broad pop culture standpoint. It can be the song or it can be the band in this particular conversation. But if you were picking between Enter Sandman and Thunderstruck.
Oh, it's the same songs. Okay, not new songs.
No, not new songs. It's these songs head to head. Which one do you think is the more impactful on the culture?
Well, you know, I think both of them, because both those songs hit the mainstream.
They did.
You know, and if you recall, the Black Album from Metallica got some grief from the original diehards of Metallica.
Yeah, because they had a ballad on there.
There was, look, you went soft on us. Where's Ride the Lightning? You know what I mean? Where's, For Whom the Bell Tolls? Those kind of things. But did they change in the regard to, hey, we can still be Metallica, but have these kind of pop culture type hits? You know what I mean? As far as an anthem, I give it to Thunderstruck just because I'm thinking of opening kickoff. You know, I like Enter Sandman too, like coming out to Enter Sandman. I like it, to be honest with you. Who was the baseball closer that came out to Enter Sandman?
Mariano Rivera.
Was it Rivera? Yeah. I mean, that is more fitting.
And I think that is, like, when we're talking about this category specifically, I think those kind of things count.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay,
so,
fair.
Thunderstruck may be more the opener, and in regard to the Rivera thing, Enter Sandman is the closer.
I'm putting you to sleep,
right?
baby.
So which one do you think you get check mark one way or the other? Which way does it go?
I'm going to go... I'm going to go Enter Sandman.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think there's even more than just Soriano that did that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And then everything else. So I'm going to go Enter Sandman on that one. As far as changing the culture, I'm going to go Enter Sandman again. I think Metallica really took a step towards, hey, hitting the mainstream. You know what I mean? Because, look, and to be quite honest with you, the Black Album brought me in. I knew of the other albums and the songs, but Black brought me in. For Wherever I May Roam, that brought, talk about an anthem for me, right? So I used to, like, envision before, like, especially on away trips, my dad used to stand on the top rung in high school and just would stand there and watch. So I'd pick out somewhere on the top rung and pretend like he's there with his arms folded, looking down, watching, getting ready to play. And then for Wherever I May Roam, it's basically like, wherever I go, I'm kicking ass. So if I'm on the road, I'm kicking ass. You know what I mean? That was the whole mentality.
Yeah.
So
the next category, Tommy, this one's, it's quick. So it's just a snap reaction to it. Which song has the better hook?
I felt like Family Feud right there. Which song has the better hook? Exit height. Or You've Been Thunderstruck. I like Thunderstruck. I like, I think
hook goes to Thunderstruck. How about The Boogie? How much do the songs make you move? Which song gets you moving first? And how much or how often does it make you move when you hear it?
Yeah, I mean, if you're not, like, running through a wall, after the first line of that, like, you know what I mean? I think that one gets you going more.
And then I have one that I call, it's split into three categories. I call it the Yellow Brick Road.
Okay.
Right? So we'll start with the brains, right?
Okay.
How smart or clever do you think either of these songs are, or which do you think is smarter?
I think Sandman is clever. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
When I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord for my soul to keep. If I die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to
Hush, little baby.
Hush, little baby. Don't say a word. Yeah.
How about heart? We go to this category here. What kind and how strong of an emotional response does it draw out of you?
Yeah, Thunderstruck, because I want to run through something or run into somebody or something.
Then courage for the Cowardly Lion. Is it able to cause you to aspire towards anything? And it may be the wall answer here again. Which one gets you inspired to go?
Thunderstruck. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that beginning gets you, like, ready to, do anything, I think.
I did put up a Twitter poll. Just asking plainly, which song do you prefer?
This is great.
Between the two.
Yeah.
And with about 60% of the vote, Enter Sandman gets the point.
Okay.
On that particular one. And then I have what I call, the equivalent of kind of our X Factor thing.
Yeah.
Right? And it can be whatever you want it to be.
Okay.
Right? So, like, when I think about it.
Yeah.
For me, the X factor between these two songs is the guitar at the beginning of Enter Sandman.
Okay.
Right? Because it kind of comes in growling.
Yep.
There at the beginning of the song, and especially in light of what kind of show I'm doing right now on Jaguars Today. I hear that, and once I heard that as a big cat growling, I've never been able to unhear it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it just feels like it's letting you know it's about to happen, right? Like, that's what that guitar says to me every time I hear it in Enter Sandman. So that's kind of my X factor for these songs. What kind of comes to your mind when you think
I'm going to stick with the same song, because right after that comes what? Boom, 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 boom. The drums, right? And then it's right? So those drums, that 4-piece hit, which, by the way, Metallica is known for. Lars, what's his last name? Ulrich, thank you. Lars Ulrich. He's known for that. Either 4 times, it goes 2, 3, 4, but they're always pow, 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 pow. So that would be mine right there.
I wasn't sure we'd have to go to it, so I didn't include it.
Okay.
All right, when we were going through it, because I wasn't sure how directly the category would apply.
Okay.
Right, to these two songs, but we have a tie at the moment.
We do?
Right?
Really?
At 5-5.
All right.
On the checklist going both ways. So the tiebreaker is going to be the category I wasn't sure to include.
Okay.
I call it the mirror. And the category is described in my head as how effectively does it show or tell us something about ourselves?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my whole life is Thunderstruck. You know what I mean? I mean, that's how I'm kind of wired. I can be chill, too, don't get me wrong.
No, I got you.
Inside that fire of life and passion and just everything and what I want to be in this life, it's Thunderstruck.
I hear you. So the point goes to AC/DC's Thunderstruck there. And in an 11 category tail of the tape, 6-5.
How about that?
The match goes to
call,
AC/DC's Thunderstruck over Metallica's
love it.
Enter the Sandman. We'll put a bow on this edition of Jaguars Today when we return. Tony Smith, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders here on 1010 XL.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010 XL. Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
The Players' Championship returns to TPC Sawgrass March 10th through 15th. Experience golf's most iconic stage with enhanced food and beverage offerings, interactive fan attractions, and an atmosphere built for every type of fan. See the best players in the world, including world number 1 Scotty Scheffler, 2025 champion Rory McIlroy, and fan favorite Brooks Koepka take on the legendary Stadium Course and the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Hey Jacksonville, Don here, the big cheese at Taco Lou. Well, everyone knows my wife Debbie is the real cheese at the Lou. We just do what we're told. We aren't a sports bar at all, but we have the best selection of the finest tequilas that Mexico has to offer, and that makes any basketball game more fun to watch. So come into Taco Lou in Jacksonville Beach, where we love sports and we love tacos with our tequila. If you're looking for a crew to help with your fiestas at home or work, Taco Lou caters, bringing the tacos to you. Taco Lou in Jax Beach, where tacos and sports go hand in hand.
Royal Pest Services, a local company you can trust. Royal Pest is a certified installer of tap insulation, which stands for thermal, acoustic, and pest control. Reduce that electric bill by adding pest protection. It's that easy. Online at royalpestservices.com.
Pick it here for Oceanside Cleaners, the very best in dry cleaning service. Free pickup and delivery, or use their self-service kiosk in Ponte Vedra and Southside for drop-off and pickup. Dry cleaning, laundry, bedding, and bridal gown preservation. If it's got fabric, they can clean it. Oceanside Cleaners.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg from Underwoods. Clayton, you can buy almost anything today on the internet. What about loose diamonds and how they are priced?
Frank, it's interesting you'd ask that because we did some research on the internet to see how diamonds price on the various websites like Blue Nile, and what we found were diamonds of the same shape, weight, color, and clarity had vastly different prices, which probably had something to do with how the diamond was cut. But the only way to see the diamonds was to buy them. So we did a price comparison on diamonds where we could tell the diamonds were nicely cut, and what we found were our prices for beautifully cut Underwood diamonds were the same as theirs. So if you're shopping for diamonds and want real expert help, real quality and value, and don't want to pay just to look at a diamond, come by Underwoods. And remember, when a diamond comes from us, you get all the services, assurances, and guarantees the people in North Florida have learned to expect for over 80 years.
Underwoods in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Living on Amelia Island? Having fun in Fernandina Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mocama Beer Company. With a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the Motor, the perfect Pilsners and Lagers, matching memories and some Mocama magic is what it's all about. Mocama Beer Company in Fernandina Beach, near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mocama craft at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
Jacksonville, it's official. Men's professional soccer is back with the USL Championship. Your Sporting Jacks Pro Soccer Club kicks off its historic first men's season on March 7th, bringing fast, physical, world-class soccer back to the First Coast. This is more than a new pro sports team. It's world-class soccer played on a national and international stage. Be there from the very beginning. Season tickets with seats starting at just $10 per match. On sale now at sportingjacks.com. Sporting Jacks. Pro Soccer, Pro Jacks.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Tom McManus, brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service on 1010XL.
More Tell the Tape to come at some point. We'll see exactly what the future of that may look like, but AC/DC's Thunderstruck takes the first one that we do.
Yeah, man. That was clever.
Culture.
I like that.
Yeah,
that was
I
good,
had
man.
fun doing it.
Whoops.
Hope everyone had fun listening. You did it again.
I kicked the camera again. Goodness gracious.
But Thunderstruck gets the first one that we do, 6'5". Just edging out.
Yeah.
Metallica's Inner Sandman
they're
there.
both great.
Sorry,
RJ.
As RJ fixes the camera. Only a few minutes left here on the program here this morning, Tommy. What do you got coming up this weekend?
Dad Bods tomorrow night. We take the stage at the local in Ponte Vedra at the corner of A18 and Solana Road, the old Woody's restaurant. And they've got a great patio, a great stage for the band. We've played there before. It's absolutely fantastic. We take the stage at 8 tomorrow night. Dad Bods will be rocking.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We actually have, how about this? I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. We rehearsed last night because we have a fill-in bass player, guy named Pete. Our guy Dwight's traveling, so we had to, we wanted to keep the gig. So we've played with Pete before, but it's been a long time. He's an unbelievable bass player. He's fully blind. He's blind, Tony.
Yeah, man.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, because I look at, when I sing in the rehearsal room, I'm looking at the guys, right? And I'm looking pretty much at him and the guitarist. I see the drummer out of the corner of my eye. And he's rocking all the songs and just jamming on the songs. We're all looking at each other like, this is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, come on out tomorrow night. It'll be a fun night. You'll know all the songs, all rock and roll, a lot of energy, a lot of sweat.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
That's amazing. Like, to have that kind of passion for music that it's like, whatever gets taken away from you, this is not going to be taken away from me.
I know.
Right? Like, like that kind of thing. I don't know if you've heard all the stories that have been written around, like, Beethoven writing his Ninth Symphony.
No, I don't know.
He had progressive hearing loss for most of his life. Like, even when he was writing all those symphonies, it was going worse and worse and worse. And he went completely deaf 10 years before he wrote the Ninth.
Wow.
Right? And so there's these iconic stories that got turned into a movie starring Gary Oldman. The story about this, like, he performed that symphony for the first time.
Yeah.
And the crowd was going nuts, but he couldn't hear any of it.
Wow.
And so someone had to turn him around so he could see the people.
Yeah.
Like reacting to the music.
Yeah.
And you see that kind of thing. It's like, how on earth do you write something like that without being able to hear any of it?
That's unbelievable.
Like, it's just your inner ear.
No doubt.
Being able to, man, I wish I was that talented at anything.
Me too.
Right? Like, I don't even care what the thing would be. It'd be like, that would be just unbelievable to be able to do something like that. Before we say goodbye for the weekend, let's say hello to XL Primetime.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Matt Hayes joining us here on the program, Thunderstruck or Enter Sandman.
Wait, first off, are we talking about Beethoven? Is that what you guys are doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. He has,
not the dog either.
No.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
His fifth is the one that everybody talks about.
Right.
The fifth is not his best symphony.
No.
I
have them ranked in my head. Like, I am old enough to have a favorite Beethoven symphony. Like,
I just threw that out there. I've never even listened to it.
I am of that age. I prefer the third and the sixth. And the ninth is amazing for what it is, but the third and the sixth are my thing. The third's the one he wrote for Napoleon.
Correct.
Right? And
really?
Then, and then Napoleon became exactly what he didn't want him to be. Yeah, like,
I love that we're talking music. All right.
Absolutely. Now, Enter Sandman or Thunderstruck?
I think Enter Sandman is kind of by itself with Virginia Tech and the Yankees. Let's just leave it there for them.
Oh, good call on Virginia Tech.
That's
good call.
I like Thunderstruck as an entry.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alabama does that.
Do they?
Yeah. It's pretty cool, too.
Yeah, it makes you want to go hurt somebody. Nothing wrong with that.
Have you ever seen the video of AC/DC live on YouTube? I think it's in South Dakota.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
When
The
Tommy,
crowd, dude.
Tommy.
Holy cow.
I saw him in
Probably
Tampa from the fifth
50,000
row.
people there, okay?
Blew my head
and
off.
they're all jumping in unison when they start playing that song.
Isn't that great?
Like when that song begins
Iconic.
and then the crowd just becomes a live thing.
Yeah.
Like
Oh my gosh, it's unreal.
It's an unbelievable thing when you get exposed to that kind of thing. What do you got coming up today on primetime?
All right, we're gonna kind of come alive on primetime today. Actually,
Come alive.
We're gonna get into the President's Commission Roundtable, whatever you want to call it, on saving college sports, where nothing is going to happen, but you're gonna have a lot of muckety mucks yelling at each other. We're also gonna talk with our coach Dave Campo and Ryan O'Halloran, the TU sports columnist.
Nice. As we're we're approaching free agency for the Jags, and I'm sure he's got some ideas on how they're going to get down underneath the cap with a couple of moves getting done this morning. More work to be done in that regard as we go through the week, and we'll be listening.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. XL Prime Time coming up next. That'll do it for us, Tommy.
Yeah, babe. Good stuff.
Fun show today.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate everybody to checking in with us as we will next week. We'll be out at the Players starting on Tuesday next week.
Yeah.
And that'll be Wednesday. It's the open of free agency. Monday, when we're going off the air, is basically when the tampering window is going to open.
Which is so dumb.
But
just let them talk.
Yeah, again, not a whole lot of movement expected from the Jags. So anything they do, you better believe we'll be reacting
That's right.
hard and heavy to whatever goes on with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Have fun with the Dad Bods.
Thank you.
Tomorrow night, everyone go check it out if you can. RJ, anything coming up for you this weekend?
No, sir. Actually, no, just
nice.
Gonna be chilling.
So when I call you tonight at 8:00, will you be locked in for the beginning of the World Baseball Classic?
Maybe
for Team USA.
Maybe I don't know yet. Maybe.
All right. I'm not saying that I will do that, but if I did, I was just curious about how that was going to go. That gives you an idea of a little bit of what's on my mind as we go into the weekend here. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll be back with you on Monday. Mike Dempsey recovered from everything that went on with the wine collar yesterday. He'll be back on Monday as well. That'll do it for us here on Jaguars Today on 1010XL.